Hi, I'm Allie from Stampworthy Goods. Welcome to Lockhart, Texas.
Stampworthy Goods is a vintage and tiled furniture company. Would love to have you visit the shop. We are in Lockhart, Texas. It is a wonderful town with lots of great restaurants and very fun vintage shops and a beautiful courthouse. There's just a lot to offer.
So we're going to be tiling this space. This is my shop in Lockhart, Texas. It's about 600 square feet. We have wood laminate down right now. We're going to be tearing this up and putting down Clayton Port's tile. All right, so this is a floating floor. These are laminate floors, so these really easily come up. So all we're gonna do is pull them up. You can learn from my mistake and cut the baseboard first. This is what happens if you don't. I'm doing this on a budget, so this is a very DIY-friendly project. And I'll save money from installing it myself, but also from the discounted tile sales that Clayton Ports runs. Okay, one thing to consider when you order tile is how much of it can actually fit in your car. So we have 600 square feet for this project, and it filled up 2 large pallets that fills this truck. So if you have something a little bit smaller, you can probably fit it in a car, an SUV. Clayton Ports also offers shipping, so that's something to consider, but make sure you come prepared and ready to load and get a workout in.
The tile that I used, I knew I wanted Saltillo tile. It didn't totally matter to me which pattern because I have not met a Saltillo tile I didn't like. So the last call sale from Clayton Ports was the best possible option for this because I was able to see there's 600 square feet of this tile, and that was exactly how much space I had. And so I was able to buy this at 70% off.
So we're gonna put down 2 different Saltillo tiles and make a pattern out of it because we had 300 square foot of each, and putting it together will make a pattern and be able to tile the whole space. All right, we're on day 2 of the installation. We're at Lowe's. We're gonna go in and get the rest of the supplies needed for a tile install. Clayton Ports does provide Mapei grout. They also recommend a list of things that you should get before you start tiling. So that's why we're at Lowe's. We're gonna grab them and then go ahead and get started today.
The materials that I got, I was able to purchase everything from Lowe's. I got mortar, so the thin set to adhere the tile, grout, a trowel, a float, even a wet saw. I actually had that. However, I think you can rent them from Lowe's. So it ended up being under $1,000 for all material included, and that was for a 600 square foot space. A couple of the challenges we had specifically was not totally eyeing the right amount of material. So it led to running and getting different amounts of grout or mortar at different points in the project. So in that case, I kind of wish I would have overcorrected. That way, we don't have to stop mid-project. So the process for installation for this floor was actually very approachable and easy. Cleaned the floor, mopped it, made sure the concrete was completely ready for the tiling. So we used this tool to grid out the space, which basically leaves a line of chalk. So you snap it down and then it creates a line. And just to be sure that after mopping and cleaning the floor, I think maybe I fucked with the lines. Pickles, I don't know. And after that, I made sure to grid out the space so that way all of the tile would be straight. It's an alternative to using spacers, especially with handmade tile like Saltillo tile. We actually used hairspray, a trick of the trade apparently. We sprayed the whole floor so that way those chalk lines stayed in place. To lay the tile on the ground, we used thin set, which it comes in a bag of powder and you mix it with water. And you want a peanut butter kind of consistency. And then we were able to use a trowel to lay down the thin set and then put the tile on top of that. I did have assistance with this project. Denise is someone that helps me within the shop, and she was very brave and decided to help tackle this project with me. And I was so happy with the results. She was a good sport and jumped in with it. So make sure you have a friend or someone to help you out for especially a project this large. And one of the other challenges is, definitely the door. Cutting the tile was not as scary as it looks, and it's very slow. You're not going full speed ahead at a blade. It's a small blade, it's a small tile, so anybody can work the tile well. So we have all the tile laid in our space. Next up is going to be our sealant process. These are unsealed tiles, and these middle ones, the San Felipes, are sealed. However, we are going to use a water-based sealant as a top sealant to cover the whole floor, and the reason for that is to help with scratches, anything with staining, to make sure that it's durable and it lasts a long time. Some of you guys have asked if it's going to change the color of the fleur-de-lis. It will not. It will still have that contrast with the San Felipe, so you'll see that difference in color for the Saltillo. However, it will protect the longevity of the tile. I thought for some reason it was going to be clear. Oh no. Grout is what you see between the tiles, and it's the last step of the project and fills all of those gaps between tiles. We mix the grout powder with water just for that same consistency like peanut butter. So you guys can see here, it's got a little bit of a thick consistency, and then you just smooth it over the tile and push it in all of the cracks. When you're doing it on a floor, you want to make sure you don't do too much at once. Do it in small spaces, wait 15 minutes, and then use a wet sponge that's wet, not damp, and then go over it with the sponge to give it this effect. It is very satisfying to grout floor. It's the final step, so it does feel like real at that point. Secondly, yeah, laying that grout and then getting that sponge and running it across and seeing it clear is very rewarding. All right, the DIY Saltillo floor is now done from Clay Imports. The install has been complete for our grand opening in Lockhart, Texas for Stampworthy goods, so please come on in and check it out. I look at this floor now every day and I'm blown away. I knew I would love it if someone else installed it, but the cost savings and the last call sale from Clay Imports made this project possible. The time is the biggest constraint. As long as you have a buddy with you, it's totally approachable. I'm so pleased with the results. Pickles is the resident shop dog, so she was in the corner just watching over our project, keeping us motivated.